Welcome back to the Practical Money with Theo, where we turn complex money into simple systems. If you want to take control of your money and feel more confident about your financial future, you are in the right place. Before we continue, the ideas from this episode reflect my views and experiences. I'm not your financial advisor, and this is not personal finance advice. Remember, always be a student, not a follower. And don't forget, every episode ends with the Practical Money Challenge. So stay with me until the end. Over the last 3 episodes, we've been building your investment knowledge, step by step. First, we learned what a stocks and shares ISA is. Then, we learned what an index fund is. Last week, we discussed how to choose an investment platform. And today, we put all those pieces together. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever looked at an investment platform and thought, where do I even start? If you have, you are not alone. In fact, I'd be surprised if you didn't feel that way. When we try something new, our brains naturally look for certainty. We don't want to make a mistake. So we keep reading, we keep watching videos, we keep comparing, and sometimes we never actually get started. Today, I want to change that. I can still remember the first time I logged into an investment platform. I saw fund names, numbers, charts, percentages, different options. It felt like I was reading a different language. I remember thinking, am I even looking at the right thing? Maybe you felt exactly the same, and if you have, that's perfectly normal. Because every experienced investor was once a beginner. Here is what I'd like you to remember. You don't need to understand everything on day one. You just need to understand a little more than you did yesterday. That's how confidence grows. Not overnight, but one lesson at a time. You don't have to know everything to start. You just need to know more than you knew yesterday. Today, I'm not going to tell you what to buy. I'm going to show you how to think when you are about to buy your first index fund. Because if you understand the process, you will feel far more confident when the time comes to invest. So you've chosen your investment platform. Now you log in. What do you see? Probably a search bar, lots of fund names, lots of numbers, lots of charts, and perhaps a little panic. Let me reassure you. That's perfectly normal. The first thing I'd like to do is slow down. Don't feel that you have to buy something immediately. Take a few minutes to look around and get comfortable. Remember, you are not in a race. First, you will see the name of the fund. That name might look long and a little intimidating. Don't worry, it's usually just telling you who manages the fund and what the fund invests in. Next, you may see the word global or world. That simply means the fund invests in companies from many countries, not just one country. Remember what we learned last week. You are not trying to find one winner. You are trying to own many businesses. You will also see a price. Don't let that confuse you. It doesn't mean the fund is cheap or expensive. It's simply the price of one unit at that moment. What matters more is whether the fund fits your long-term plan. You'll probably also see a chart. Now, this is where many people make their first mistake. They see the line going up. They think, I've missed it. Or they see the line going down and they think, I'd better wait. But remember what we discussed in the early episodes. Short-term movements are normal. You are investing for years, not days. Another thing you will often see is something called the ongoing charge. This is one of the fees we spoke about last week. It's worth knowing what it is, understanding it and comparing it. Not because the cheapest is always the best, but because you should know what you are buying and why. Now, you may also see the words that sound a little strange: accumulation and income. Don't worry, they are much simpler than they sound. We'll look at those in just a moment. The first time you open an investment platform, don't try to understand everything. Just aim to understand one thing better than yesterday. Now, let's talk about two words that often confuse people: accumulation and income. When I first saw those words, I remember thinking, what do they even mean? The good news is they are actually very simple. Let's imagine you own an apple tree. Every year, that tree produces apples. Now, you have two choices. You can pick the apples and take them home, or you can sell those apples and use the money to plant another apple tree. That's basically the difference. An income fund pays the money out to you. You can spend it, save it, or reinvest it yourself. An accumulation fund does something different. Instead of paying the money out, it automatically reinvests it back into the fund. So, without you having to do anything, your investment buys a little more of itself. Neither is right, neither is wrong. It depends on your goal. If you are building wealth for the long term, many investors prefer accumulation because they want their returns to stay invested and keep compounding. If you are looking for income, perhaps in retirement, an income fund may suit your needs better. The important thing is to understand the difference. Now, let me talk about another mistake. I see people spend weeks, months, sometimes even years trying to find the perfect fund. They watch one more video, read one more article, compare one more fact sheet, and before they know it, another year has passed. Perfection can be the enemy of progress. Remember what we said last week. You don't build wealth by finding the perfect platform. And today I would like to add, you don't build wealth by spending years looking for the perfect fund. You build wealth by learning, making thoughtful decisions, and staying consistent. Don't wait until you know everything. Keep learning, but don't let the search for perfection stop you from making the progress. So, you've learned what stocks and shares ISA is. You've learned what an index fund is. You've learned how to choose an investment platform. And today, you've learned how to think when buying your first index fund. I hope you can see that investing isn't as complicated as it first appears. Now, before we finish, I would like to share something that has helped me. When I first started, I thought I had to get every decision exactly right. The perfect platform, the perfect fund, the perfect time, the perfect amount. But over the years, I have come to realize that successful investing isn't about being perfect. It's about having a simple plan and sticking to it. Let me ask you another question. If you plant a tree today, do you expect to sit under its shade next week? Of course not. You know it takes time. You water it. You look after it. You give it the chance to grow. Investing is very similar. The results don't usually come next week or next month. They come from years of patience, discipline, and consistency. Now, before we finish, here are 3 things I'd like you to remember. First, don't be afraid of starting. Every experienced investor was once a beginner. Second, understand what you're buying. Don't invest just because someone else told you to. Understand why you are investing. Third, you don't need a complicated plan to build wealth. You need a good system followed consistently. Now it's time for this week's Practical Money Challenge. I'm not going to ask you to buy an index fund. Not yet. Instead, I would like you to log into an investment platform. Find one global index fund. Open its fact sheet and spend 10 minutes reading about it. Don't worry if you don't understand everything. Just ask yourself, do I understand a little more today than I did yesterday? If the answer is yes, then you are making progress. So today, you've taken a big step. You've learned how to choose an investment platform. You've learned how to buy your first index fund. And most importantly, you've learned that successful investing isn't about finding the perfect investment. It's about building a simple system that you can follow for years. If you've made it this far, congratulations. You now know more about investing than many people who have been working for years but have never started. Next week, we are going to begin a very different and a very personal series. It is a series that I've wanted to make for a long time. It is different from anything I've shared on this channel before. I hope you will join me, and until then, keep learning, keep asking questions, and keep building your financial knowledge, because the greatest investment you can make is in yourself. If you found this series helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who's been saying, I would like to start investing but hasn't known where to begin. You never know, one conversation or one video might change someone's financial future. And before I go, I would like to leave you with one final thought. You don't become a confident investor the day you press the buy button. You become a confident investor the day you commit to continuing to learn. That's what this series has really been about. Not chasing the perfect investment, not getting rich overnight, but building the knowledge and the habits that can serve you for the rest of your life. Money matters, but life matters more. Fix your system, fix your money. Congratulations, you've completed your first investment course. I will see you next week. Bye-bye.